Hey, what's going on? Miguel, host of Life Full Circle Radio. What's up? What's up? So, a lot going on. It's hard to keep up with it, but we do the best that we can as a society, not just our crew, but Lord Jesus. So, I think last time we was on here a few days ago because we was behind in the week and got in there. We was talking about Diddy trial just went down that day, and so now he is in call. He'll be locked up until they decide to give him his sentence. But we'll keep an eye on that, see how long he's going to get. But as we mentioned, a lot going on. Texas flood. Wow. Terrible situation out there in Texas. And there's some conversation around meteorologists, and meteorologists basically saying that because of their cutting funding with the National Weather Service, it's going to be hard for them to predict how bad these storms are going to be. I saw one meteorologist basically say this is going to be like 1999. Latest on Diddy, as we mentioned, Carnival Cruise Line racist. That's a conversation that the super producer is going to lead because I don't know what's going on with that. And so I'm going to learn when you learn. Tyler Perry update. That's another story that I'm not following, and Kia's going to bring me up to speed. What? We're going to figure out what in the Sam Hill is going on in these internet streets that's got folks bugging out. And then we were watching, I know Old Guard 2 came out this past weekend. I watched Mobland. We'll talk about some of that and some other things. Make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms. We are on right now live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And we're chatting a little bit on Threads. Threads is picking up steam. You ain't got on Threads. You ain't got no Thread yet. You ain't got no Thread yet. What you waiting on? Oh, hold on.
We talked about this.
Hold on. Super producer.
What's up? Happy Monday, and we're actually live on a Monday. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, I don't think we'll be
so
live.
Busy.
I don't think we'll be live next Monday. I'm trying to think. I'm getting ready to get into heavy travel ball season for the rest of the month. So I'll let you know after the show once I look at the calendar.
And by the way, thanks to social media and my own Googling, I found out you'll be in Louisville, Kentucky this weekend for a tournament.
Yeah.
You won't be there for me to pop by the house with the kids.
No, we don't leave until. Hey man, you'll be telling everybody your business in these internet streets. You don't even know where we coming and going. We talk about that offline.
Cool.
Right. So anyway, all right. So a lot of stuff going on. The Texas flood is terrible. Let's start there because that's what's top of mind right now. So people don't know. There was a huge flood. Well, you do your thing. I'll do my thing. You do your thing about the Texas flood.
Yeah. So, as Texas flood. Hold on 1 second. I need to close this out. Texas flood death toll hits 100. Experts say better early warning signs could have reduced casualties. So there's been a lot of back and forth about this. So a flood warning system that was deemed too costly by the Texas county, where last week's rains killed at least 27 kiddie campers, might have given the victims more of a fighting chance, experts told the Post. Officials in Kerr County, where this happened, home to Flash Flood Alley, is that a thing? Okay, where at least 75 of the state's more than 100 flood victims died. Compton contemplated installing a flood warning system in 2017. Outside of all of this, let's break down what happened because this article is not explaining everything the proper way. These campers and everybody who lives along this river did not have enough time to prepare. There's been some back and forth, but it recently came out because the National Weather Service and what is the other one? National Weather Service and NOAA?
Probably. You think about NOAA, yeah.
And NOAA did issue warnings that this could happen. The problem was because they are short-staffed and underfunded, they didn't get this message out until the middle of the night. By the time these people woke up, there was nowhere to go and nothing for them to do. These little girls who were at Camp Mystic, there were 27 little girl campers who were having the time of their lives the day before, sending pictures of their family, having a great time. They wake up and there's water coming into their campground. Their camp counselor, the owner of Camp Mystic, tried to save as many girls as he could. He wasn't able to. He died in the process. All these little girls died. There's also a story of another gentleman who, again, they woke up in the middle of the night to flood waters. He tries to break a window with his arm, which is not a smart thing to do. We don't recommend it. And he slices his artery and bleeds out right there while his mother is holding him. And there has been a lot of blaming. So I'll let you go while I try to find a video of people blaming each other.
Well, when you start talking about flash flooding, I saw a video earlier today where it was literally people who, in the span of real time, this video was a minute and a half, 2 minutes, where
The
people
time-lapse
watched.
video?
No, not a time lapse video. I mean, literally, people were standing there. Hey, man, the river is coming. You see it? You hear it? And they're hearing the video, and it's a little mini bridge and a little driveway. It's in the woods somewhere in the rural area, and they literally watched this water rush down this river in the span of about 45 seconds to a minute. And I looked at that thing and said, my God, that is to be in that scenario. And like, you're sitting there like, you're hoping these people get in their cars, find a way to get out of there. You know, we just have all these assumptions living in these urban areas that we live in, that there's always going to be a way to get out of there, right? It's going to be a way. But no, these people living in rural areas. And when I heard about that camp situation and what I saw with that was absolutely frightening. This is AI. This is AI, and a lot of folks are posting this particular image. But
Well, I had
the
the
rain rose so fast. Go ahead.
I have, if you want to share my screen, I have the Caryville city manager who's refusing to answer a question about the campers, why they weren't warned. So if you want to go ahead and, I don't know if you can share the audio or not.
Turn your audio. Audio is not on, doesn't look like. If not, send it to me. It is on. I'm not sure why your audio is not coming through. Send me the link and I'll pull it up. Yeah, send me the link.
But they have I keep saying the city wrong. The Caryville city staff is refusing to take any blame on this. They are blaming everybody else. It's not their fault. They didn't know. What were we supposed to do? So on and so forth. It's just been, the weather service didn't do what they were supposed to do. NOAA didn't do what they were supposed to do. But as
this is Mother Nature. Mother Nature is not playing. When you talk about a video that I could show you that I just talked about, where in the span of less than a minute and a half, it was complete washout. And when you talk about those type of situations, yeah, you want to be able to warn people in enough time.
Look at this. Show me screen one more time. Look at this. I mean, this is total devastation to this area. There are cars that are just floating away. I hope there's not anybody in any of these vehicles. But anyway, yeah, look at this. This is crazy.
Right. So when you see this, you say to yourself, what do you do besides having just not be there and pray to God that you're not in a situation like these folks were in?
One more question.
Yeah, well, one of the questions.
And here's the other one I'll send to you. This is probably the better one from the National Weather Service that a lot of people were talking about.
Can you hear my audio?
Something like this
yes.
Happen, that the threat existed. Why that information didn't get down to the camps and why they weren't evacuated. Can you answer that now?
That is a great question, but again, we want to make sure that we continue to focus. We still have 11 missing children that we want to get reunited with our families. Until we can get reunited with our families, we are not going to stop. We are not going to stop until we do. So, thank you.
Follow-up question, sir. Was any emergency alert given out on the 4th that morning of? Did anyone get?
And here, and the next one I sent you is another video of another Texas official. Blasting the National Weather Service.
One of the questions that still hasn't been answered 3 days into this.
I'll pull that one up too. But here's the thing, and you have to feel for these folks because they're not God. I don't care what role that they are. The only thing you can try to do in this scenario is hope that you can warn people to get out of there. And if they're cutting the
forecast that we received on Wednesday from the National Weather Service predicted 3 to 6 inches of rain in the Concho Valley and 4 to 8 inches of rain in the Hill Country. We worked with our own meteorologists to fine-tune that weather statement, and as many of you know, and many of you in broadcast journalism and meteorology, you can go back and look at your own forecast, and the amount of rain that fell in this specific location was never in any of those forecasts.
This rain event sat on top of that and dumped more rain than what was forecasted on both of those forks. When we got the report, it was about 7 feet or so on the South Fork, and within a matter of minutes it was up to 29 feet, and all of that converged at the Guadalupe, and that's where we saw those very quick rise in flood.
But listen, everybody got the forecast from the National Weather Service, right? You all got it. You're all in media. You got that forecast. It did not predict the amount of rain that we saw. The original forecast that we received on Wednesday from the National...
Part of the problem is that The prediction is the issue. And there's some videos, as I mentioned, that are out there, and I don't have it queued up, but it's out there, that is talking about that meteorologists. I've been hearing this now for the last couple of weeks. And these are people that you see them and you say, these aren't no bleeding heart liberals we're seeing on this screen. These are scientists. These are meteorologists. These are people that do this stuff for a living. And they're saying that in Florida, there's one guy said he's been a meteorologist from South Florida for 34 years, I remember him saying. And there's some close to 40% of the normal workforce in that space have been furloughed. They're not putting up the weather balloons for people to be able to know. We take this stuff for granted. And now, for the most part, when I told you a month ago, when that tornado hit our community where I am here in Georgia, and the brother from The Wire, who's 5 minutes from here, his house was destroyed. I literally, phones went off, alarm system went off, tornado was coming, get in your place. And in 7 to 10 minutes, we were told, you're good to go. Turn on the news. I could see it. I could look on my phone. I knew where the tornadoes were going. That's not magic. That's science.
No, that's science. And I think a lot of people look at meteorologists on TV and go, oh, they're just news anchors, or they're just, they're just the voices for the weather. I'm like, that's not what they do.
No.
I mean, they really are people who have to go to school for meteorology, for
Absolutely.
weather, science, and they have a skill, they have a talent, and they're so needed. I mean, Miguel lives in Georgia. I live in Florida, home of the hurricane, and hurricane season is coming up very soon. And a lot of people here are nervous and trying to see how that's going to go. I mean, my mother lives in the St. Pete Beach area. It just got hit with a bad hurricane
2 years
less
ago?
than a year ago.
Was it a year? Only a year?
Only a year ago. This just happened. And my mom, the really sad part is my mom just got her back room that was blown off by the hurricane. She just got that rebuilt last Saturday. Like, everything's done. The new TV's in there. Everything's finished. And now we're going back into hurricane season. And if we have people who don't have the tools, the equipment they need to keep us safe, then what happens? Ain't like insurance paying out money, because they're not. They're not.
And Florida is such a, as you mentioned, you have no choice but just to go north. There's nowhere else to go. You got water all the way around you. You can't do nothing but go north, and everybody's going north, right?
We're
If you're trying to
America's
get out.
penis hanging in the toilet, basically. That's what Florida is. I know that sounds awful, but that's what we are.
Yeah. So, you look at this situation and you just say, my God. So let's just pray. These are the things. And as we just coming off of, hey, that's what we haven't talked about. We didn't put on our list. The big, beautiful bill that just passed since our last show was signed on July 4th in a big old ceremony, and all of the money that has been cut and all of the
big old ceremony in the middle of the night.
But that's how they do it. Here's the thing. When it's not Trump, when it's any other executive, they always drop stuff on Friday evening when people aren't really paying attention, and they let it fly through because the weekend is coming, and by 6 p.m. everybody's at happy hour. They've been doing that forever. So good and doggone well with this administration, that's how they're going to handle things. And the fact that, that they got this thing passed on Thursday, and people are still trying to figure out how bad it's going to be. I've heard some, it's interesting. I've heard the number that I've heard is between 10 and 17 million people are going to lose their health care. And we're talking about the big, beautiful bill now, AI, as we put you in the system to help pull this together. Here's the thing.
So the bill is partially paid for by significant cuts to healthcare, nutrition programs like Medicaid, and Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP. The Congressional Budget Office estimates the bill would add $3.4 trillion to the federal deficits. And you heard me right. Add, not take away. Add $3.4 trillion to the federal deficit over the next 10 years and leave millions without health care. Senate Republicans used a process known as budget reconciliation to pass the bill, which limits the type of policies that can be included in a simple majority vote. So there's going to be Medicaid restrictions. The legislation includes restrictions on Medicaid, which provides government-sponsored health care for low-income and disabled Americans. The bill imposes work requirements for some able-bodied adults and more frequent eligibility checks. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that the bill would result in 11.8 million Americans losing health coverage under Medicaid over the next decade. So what does this mean? You can have your health care if you're able-bodied and you're making an attempt to work. They're not asking for some astronomical hours, but they're asking for, I think it's 20 hours a month to to qualify for your health care.
Let me tell you why this should be more concerning to most people, but the way it's being sold is going to be a dud. How many people are there in America?
No, don't do math. I have no idea. Don't do math.
I should not be laughing at that. There are over 330 million people in the United States of America. And those are people that we know of that are on some sort of census roll. If the number I keep hearing who are going to be kicked off of their insurance is 17 million. 17 million is roughly 6%, give or take, of all people who currently have insurance. There are so many despondent people that's not what you sell to get people to care, because most people who have insurance will still keep their insurance. What's going to happen is that it's going to be more expensive. That's where you sell it. You don't sell it strictly based on the number. Some 17 million people are going to be put off out of healthcare, which is terrible. Don't get me wrong. But the bottom line is me, you, and the other 96% or whatever the number is I just came up with, 94% of the people who have health insurance will still have health insurance. They're just going to pay more for it. We're going to pay more for everything.
Yeah.
And that's the part that is not a strong enough selling point, and why they keep kicking liberals and progressives behind because of messaging. They can't figure out this messaging.
And the part that always boggles my mind, and I think we've had this conversation before, that this bill does not directly affect me and Miguel right now. I mean, Devin's special needs, so he's technically not able-bodied, so he won't have to worry about losing his benefits right now, and you don't have to worry about. But this bill affects Trump supporters. They live in these rural red states. They rely on these rural hospitals that will be closing. They rely on Medicaid. They rely on Social Security. They rely on SNAP benefits.
It's not good enough. I'm telling you.
What? What's not good enough?
Listen to what I just said. 17 million people are the ones that they say are going to be kicked off the rolls of 330 million. So most people will not be directly affected. The second thing that they're doing is that most of this stuff doesn't go into play until after the midterms, which means that if the Democrats defeat the Republicans in 2026, by 2027 and 2028, all of this is going to drop in their lap. And most of the idiots who are not really paying attention going to blame all this on the Democrats. That's why they have these looks on their faces when they talk about this stuff. They laugh about it because they know that they made people so ignorant. Think about it. As bright as we think we are, you and I, we sat up here and we talked about what we were going to talk about today. And the biggest thing that we missed was we didn't even put the big, beautiful bill in our rundown because we just like, and that's the biggest thing, really. All this other stuff, the Diddy trial, Tyler Perry, all of this other stuff is a distraction from what really is happening in this country right now. And we're getting so desensitized, and I'm even talking to myself. This stuff is scary, how desensitized we're getting to the point in this world. So it's crazy. So yeah. All right, where are we going?
Wow, the child tax credit is set to return to pre-2017 level of only $1,000 in 2026.
Right, but in 2026, but right now it's going to increase by $500 to $2,500. So the idiots that aren't really paying attention, who don't look past their nose, they think this is great. This is great. And then when it comes down to the vote and the midterm elections in 2026 and going beyond that, when stuff really starts to kick in, they're already anticipating they're about to get their behinds whooped if there is an election, because we also know that you got situations like what they're doing out in California, where they're trying to get people to really get to the point that we're going to have martial law, because you want to run up on a doggone soccer field with military approaching And Governor Bass from Los Angeles had to come out there and tell them to get the F up out of there. But this is a military, they're approaching this is during the day. Summer camp is going on. Kids are out there trying to play and they're running for their lives.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and also a lot of these places, it seems a little racist. Doesn't that seem a little racist?
Oh, is it a little racist? Ooh, is it a little racist?
I know I sound goofy. It's just like, it's just crazy to me. If you've ever been to California, I have. Those white boys over there, their Saturday morning thing, their afternoon thing, they all play soccer. That's just something they do. So you're just assuming you're going to walk on this field and arrest all these people. In reality, you're just pushing more people against everything. You are terrorizing Los Angelinos left, right, and side. They're terrorizing America.
They're hitting soft targets. Here's the thing. And I saw another guy who posted this, and I was like, where he said, if you really wanted to get rid of all the criminals and get them, then why aren't you hitting the jails?
Go to one shot, please.
Huh? You talking to me?
Can you go to one shot, please? Thanks.
Oh, for myself. Okay. Yeah. So why exactly are they not going after? Go to the jails. If you've got criminals that you know are criminals that are in the system, you can start by getting them up out of here, sending them back to the countries of origin, and take their criminal behavior back. But they don't want to do that. We didn't put on our list the alligator Alcatraz situation, which is they're basically down in the Everglades, and they've created a detention center in the middle of a swamp that they say is surrounded by alligators and snakes. And they think, that's all fun and dandy. And so you have that, and then you got people in that community say, ho. There are no septic tanks out here. There's no infrastructure out here. So when you put all these people out here and they have to do what they have to do, where does all the poop and the pee and all of that and all the waste, where does it go? You just gonna dump it in the Everglades? Right? Is that what we're doing? And so there's so much going on, and let me know if you're ready, kid. There's so much going on. You ready? Okay. That you look at this stuff and you say that's another thing we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about Alcatraz, alligator Alcatraz that your lovely governor wants to enact.
Wants to enact.
Well, then it's done.
Well, no. The first detainees will be arriving there this week to alligator Alcatraz. And mind you, I live in Florida. It rains here nonstop. This facility is not ready to house people at all. And I think that's partially the point. It is rainy. It is leaking. They're showing that there is no, like you said, the sewage system is not 100% done. It is inhospitable, steamy wetlands of Florida. As his supporters were, thinking it's some fun thing to do. Like, oh, it's cool. We got alligator Alcatraz. We have Laura Loomer, who's on social media saying, well, it's healthy to feed the alligators. This is not okay. I get it. You want immigrants not in this country, but torturing them, basically building concentration camps across the United States is a completely different level of inhumanity that I don't even think.
Yeah. Cruelty and inhumanity. You're right. Go ahead.
Yes, cruelty and inhumanity, and that I didn't even think was possible. And again, we have people quoting saying, again, it proves that cruelty was always the point. It wasn't even other things saying like, well, we'll ship them out of here to whatever country's available. What the hell does that mean? So instead of sending them back to their country of origin, you're like, whatever country will take them, will send them. That's trafficking, by the way, even though we've seen a lot of human trafficking lately. We are seeing people taken from one state and then shipped off to another state, and their families don't even know where they are. To contact them, to contact a lawyer, to figure it out. Judges haven't even seen any of these people to be able to say, okay, well, Miranda, you got picked up at your job and you just had an immigration hearing 2 weeks ago. You're good. Your status is still safe. But Alejandro, you've been in jail 3 or 4 times and you just got picked up for pickpocketing. You on your way out. These things aren't happening. And it's just very, very sad.
It's cowardice. It's absolute cowardice. And it's he's even talked about now. We just had the 249th anniversary on July 4th. So by next year, he's already talking about having a UFC match on the White House lawn next year for the 250th anniversary. He's turned it. Is this a glad? You're going to create a gladiator pit at the White House? Is that what we're doing? You're going to erect? It's we. Nobody had this on their bingo card that we were going to have a president that was going to be an administration was going to be this reckless. I used to, DMV 30 years ago when I and they used to be, the libertarian people used to be at the DMV. We used to always look at them like, go over there, nut job, stay away from church. I'm trying to give me little leaflets. And these are the people now that are running this country. And I don't know how we got here. But we're here now. No. People like Ricky Smiley and Yvette Nicole Brown and people are in tears and just stressed and just like people are scared. People don't know what's going to happen next, and it's so crazy because we're in the middle of Essence Festival and so many things that are going on.
Well, let's go to one more fun story before we dive into Essence and whatever happened to Lauryn Hill performing until 3:38 in the morning. I don't understand. So let's talk. And again, my video might messed up because the articles that are coming up. But actor alleges Tyler Perry.
Drop an article in the chat, and I'll pull it up because we'll figure out your audio later. Just drop it in the chat, and I'll pull it up while you talk about it.
Okay, so actor alleges Studios VP Mark E. Swinton groomed and sexually assaulted him. Actor and Army veteran Braxton DeMarco Wells recently took to social media to make some shocking allegations against a Tyler Perry Studio VP. And he did several videos posting and kind of giving proof that he was picked up, taken to a restaurant that, he worked and he had I wouldn't say concrete evidence, but he did have proof that he was in the orbit of Tyler Perry and Mark E. Swinton. So in a lengthy Instagram post shared yesterday, he alleges, DeMarco alleges that he was flown from Georgia under false pretenses. Allegedly, he was then groomed and assaulted by Swinton. Wells alleges that Perry knew about this and chose not to speak up. Allegedly, he also worked with his attorney, Tyler Perry Studios worked with his attorney behind his back to force him into an NDA. Marky Swinton, you groomed and R-worded me while I was under your influence, flying me from Los Angeles to Georgia under false pretenses. Wells argues in his post, per the Neighborhood Talk, you abuse your position as vice president of Tyler Perry Studios, a company that claims to stand on faith to commit unspeakable evil behind closed doors. And he goes on to say more. Let me ask you this. What does this man get out of lying? Because he's not suing him civilly at all. There is no civil suit. So what does he get out of lying about being assaulted by another man?
I don't know. I don't think anything. If he was assaulted, right, then he's having his time. Now, mind you, these type of stories, man, and people are definitely becoming more bold, and they're saying that my story will be heard, and so the back up, because first I'm hearing this story. So one of Tyler Perry's VPs is
not Tyler Perry.
Not Tyler Perry. Make sure we're clear on that. It's not Tyler Perry. One of his staff members flew out a man. Flew out a man, and supposedly he sexually assaulted him.
Yes. And this gentleman actually, this is not the first time this man has made this claim. He made this claim right when it first happened and just wanted Tyler Perry Studios to address it and call the police. And he apparently contacted the police. I'm not sure what happened with that, or they were looking for, I don't know what happened with him contacting the police, but he contacted the police right away. And then he got in touch with a lawyer, not to sue, like a criminal lawyer. I'm turning this off because this is what's messing up my video. All these ads on this website. He got in touch with a lawyer, not to like sue civilly, but to see what do I need to do to bring physical, charges up against this man who did this to me. He actually had gone to therapy. He's talked about it with his therapist. His therapist has notes. The VA has notes because that's where he was going. Even though the VA kept switching him from therapist to therapist, there are notes about him going through this, who did it, for, as long as this has happened. So I don't feel this person is lying. I do feel really bad that he is getting death threats. Why are we sending death threats to people? Why are we, calling these people all kinds of names, and you probably liked it and you didn't get what you want in a situation where he didn't want this?
Because we live in a pretty crappy society. Because you have people who stood outside of Diddy's trial and put baby oil on themselves after this trial when Cassie, and regardless of the it wasn't as if he wasn't guilty. When I watched, Trey and I were watching it, I think it was last night. They said the defense attorney started off by basically saying Diddy's a terrible person. This is Diddy's attorneys that are basically saying that Sean Combs is a bad person, but that was their defense. So they dealt with that out the gate. We're at a point now where we got folks that'll celebrate Diddy and R. Kelly and just the depravity of our community, and that's just where we are. And it makes you want to be like, tell your kids, man, be careful. When you get out into this world, you see people going that way who act like that, go that way.
Yeah.
Let them have it. Because at this point, I don't see how we get away from it outside of just making sure you're not in the proximity of wickedness. And that's what these people are.
The defense, I know we're going off topic a little bit, but the defense of Diddy's just a bad person. I mean, it works because people can wrap their hand around that. Yeah, He's a scumbag human being. He abused his girlfriend, but did he commit a RICO?
That's the stuff to put enough doubt in people's minds that we have the reason why we have a lot of people who should be off the streets or on the streets. And so, but as far as the situation, let's keep an eye on this, and let's make sure once again we're crystal clear. This is not about Tyler Perry directly. It's an employee of Tyler Perry who has been accused of this act of sexual assault of this gentleman. And so it says Marquis Swindon groomed and sexually assaulted him. Tyler Perry Studio VP Marquis Swindon. All right, so let's move on. Next up on our agenda, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this situation here with Kai Cenat and Target. And so Target.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can. So Target is at the point. I'm gonna go to let me see. Miguel, one shot. Miguel, I don't want to go to one shot without you. Go ahead. I'll mute your mic. And so Kai Cenat, for people who don't know, he is a very successful internet person. He's very, very successful for young people. Might be 25 years old. You might have seen him recently. He's starting to do a lot of work with Kevin Hart. Because here's the reason why most of y'all don't know who this is. He is a younger person who has a tremendous amount of influence. About 3 years ago, there was a story floating around where Times Square got shut down because at that point, the PlayStation 5s were hard to get their hands on. And he supposedly said that he was going to give away a PlayStation 5 at Times Square, and all of a sudden, a bunch of young people just rushed Times Square. It was this kid. People are like, who is Kai Cenat? Kai Cenat is extremely successful. It's a guy who turned down Netflix and Amazon and some others to go on the contract with them because he's basically saying, I don't need you. So what has he done? He has now gone and he's gotten into business. He's gotten into bed with Target. And we know Pastor Jamal Bryant and others have led a boycott of Target. And this conversation now, so what they've done, it looks like they've done a deal with Kai Cenat, and they have products that he's endorsing are now in Target. And
yes,
now you have
Tone Personal Care is his product.
Right here. Oh my gosh!
And so,
Yo! Oh my God, we got hella real estate.
what you see in that top right hand corner are the chat box. I swear when you hear the kids say the slang, "What's up, chat? What's up, chat?" I think this is what it came from. I'm not young enough to know, but there's millions of people that are on his stream every week. What's the point? The point is, with all the work that the boycott has been doing with Target, Target is now saying, okay, what did Target do this past week? They had an activation at Essence Fest, and they did this video, and they're now going to influencers like Cenat to say, we're going to find other people who don't give a damn about your boycott, and we're going to use them to leverage them to touch the black community, and we're going to create new customers.
And if you want to see, I mean, his product line, okay, all supported to Cenat. You've done a lot with less than nothing. I mean, if you want to pull it up, I'll send you the link right now so you can actually see what his products are. They actually look, the packaging and branding is amazing. But why Target, bro? Why Target? You couldn't get no deal at Costco. We're supporting Costco, and this is all a scheme to get people to go back to Target. Listen, people aren't going back. Come on, does this not look a good product? Like the packaging and stuff is very clean. We've seen other people who roll out products and it looks like garbage. At least the products look good.
Nobody has an excuse in this day and age to roll out garbage creative. It's too easy to get it done. You can do this with AI.
Wait, hover over when you hover over the deodorant, you see pictures of his friends. Like go down one.
And here's the thing. These guys probably, that's why he's got those cats in there in Target with them. So who are you targeting right now? So here's the funny thing. Now, over all the years of black folks in Target, who was Target's core demographic in the black community?
Me.
Black women.
Yeah.
Black women.
Me.
So now black women are becoming a very difficult demographic that once they ain't effing with you, they ain't effing with you. Okay?
We hold grudges like nobody's business, okay?
Absolutely. And so now they said, okay, we got some rebuilding to do with black women. So who we gonna go after right now? The main one that black women say they can't stand and they don't F with anyway, which are young black men. And we're gonna try to target a whole new demographic. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And so, but you know, I heard people in these internet streets who talk about,
but is the deodorant is the deodorant going to bring the black men in? Deodorant.
Cenat is going to bring the black men in, and I venture to guess this stuff is probably super cheap too, right? So you know, you start talking about.
It's not showing me prices.
Huh? This is Is that $35?
It's not showing me prices.
This is showing prices. Did that say $35?
Wait, it's $35 for the collection. If you want the collection of 4 deodorants, it's $35, which is still a lot.
Tone Fresh Starter Set brings together all 3 products from iconic scents to 48-hour moisturizer and advanced therapy. This bundle ensures you smell, look, and feel your best. You know, this reminds me, I got 2 nephews. 2 nephews, they're now in their mid-20s. And they used to spray that Axe spray. And I would never forget that my nephew Vincent sprayed that Axe one day when he was out hooping and decided to come on in and spray that because he didn't feel like running straight to the shower. And that thing almost choked the mess out of me. and I said to myself, that's the market that they're going after right here. And I'm pretty sure this stuff probably smells really strong. You know what I mean? They're literally at the age, Cenat's market where they're starting to smell themselves. They're smelling themselves. And so they want to attract, come up out the incel, come up out the basement and after you've been playing video games all day. But here's the point. This is not the market that was buying into the Target boycott. This is a totally different market. And one of the people who want to debate in the comments with me want to talk about, he's doing something good, he's selling in Target. He in essence, he's a scab who crossed the picket line, is what he is.
He is.
He's a scab who crossed the picket line.
Everybody else who had a black brand has kind of either shifted away from Target, or when their contract is up again to renew it, they're kind of like, it's not really worth it because my demographics no longer coming into Target. Tabitha Brown, is her demographic in Target? Absolutely not. Her demographic is not in Target right now.
So they're shifting their influences over. And so we'll see how this continues to pan out, and see if this works, because we also have, as you mentioned, I've heard people who were talking about Essence Festival and folks who were saying there were people, Tamika Mallory and some others who boycotted Essence Festival this year, and Essence Festival been around for the better part of 30 years. And so there's some people weren't agreeing with that. I saw a post with my friend Ryan Wilson and him posting about going about that differently. And I know he's got an event going on the Gavin Spot where he's going to have folks from Essence and some other major players to talk about that boycott and how to continue. All right. So speaking of Essence Festival, when we gonna learn?
Now here's my question. So Lauryn was late. We know Lauryn be late, but somebody also said is that it was the production, like it was the show lineup was late, which made her late. Is that a lie, or did she was she just late?
Here's the thing. If it is, she damned if she do, damned if she don't, because she just had the reputation of always being late. And so don't nobody care about the production and all that. Everybody know about 10 to 15 years of Lauryn Hill. 3:30 in the morning? Really? That's when she's performing, at 3:30 in the morning? Come on, man.
Okay, here's a story from Variety. It done got to Variety, y'all, the white people publication. Okay, Essence Festival defends Lauryn Hill's delayed 2 a.m. performance. We protect our own no matter what. She arrived on schedule, stepped on that stage, and delivered the kind of performance only a legend can.
So what time was she supposed to perform?
But what does that mean?
What time was she supposed to?
Essence. Let me finish. Essence Festival organizers have come to Lauryn Hill's defense after the singer appeared late, starting roughly around 2:30 a.m. to perform for a nearly empty stadium on July 5th. The festival assumed responsibility for the late start, which, according to the report from NOLA, was experiencing delays throughout the entirety of Friday. The festival issued a statement on their social media that praised Hill as a legend and explicitly stated the delay was not her fault. Hill had been added to the lineup just a few days before the festival started on Friday. The first concert date of the 4-day event featured late starts from Glorilla, the Isley Brothers, Babyface, and Maxwell, among others. Family and friends and around here.
Boy. You got Glorilla, Maxwell. Who else? Did you say? All in the same night?
It was Glorilla, the Isley Brothers, Babyface, and Maxwell. Guess who don't go there? Like, guess which artist does not go with the Isley Brothers, Maxwell, and Babyface? It is Glorilla. Why is she with them? Let's move on.
Yeah. A lot of aunties like Glorilla though. They rock out the glow. Go ahead. They do.
Okay.
They do.
They're saying it wasn't her fault. The delay, not hers. We will take that moment. And then they just do a lot of flowery words and, legend, awesome, amazing, queen, blah, blah, blah. But 3:37 a.m., according to multiple reports, the silence between songs of the Caesars Superdome allowed Hill to interact freely with fans. She took a request for I Gotta Find Peace of Mind from her 2002 live. So she out here taking requests like a karaoke machine.
Because whoever was still there was either asleep, drunk, or both. And she's like, all right, okay, what you want here?
But imagine that experience now. They made a mistake. She didn't get on stage till super duper late. She still got to perform because we paid her still. And now you have people who can apparently she was actually interacting with these people one-on-one. So if you stayed,
Lauren
you got your money's worth.
Is a Teflon Don. She can do this every year. And still, when she comes to town, she's going to sell it out. I had one of our two. Saran was such a huge L Boogie fan when she was a youngin' into a teenager. And she came here to Atlanta, and I said, I'm going to take this baby to go see Lauryn Hill. And she started.
Take my baby to go see Lauryn Hill.
I'm going to take my baby to see Lauryn Hill. And if anybody in Atlanta knows that it was at Chastain Park. Chastain Park is in a rich people's neighborhood. When they say 11 o'clock, cut that off, She's supposed to start at 8. She ain't start to 10:20. At 11 o'clock, she was up in that joint like this. Lost one. And everybody's like, what? I can't hear her. What's going on? I can't hear her. And she's still up that joint like this. And said all of a sudden, we like, no, it's 11 o'clock, player. We don't play about that out here in Chastain Park. Cut the sound off, 11 p.m. Next thing you know, she doing a little, people walking out like, yeah, well, that's Lauryn Hill. And from then on, my daughter was like, oh, she wasn't as big of a fan. Now she went to London to go see Beyonce. That's her girl.
Oh.
So anyway, Essence, I heard it was kind of hit or miss, but it's Essence. So, you know, it is what it is. It's always going to be something to do. And one of my younger brothers when I saw he went to Essence, I was like, whew, the world is changing. Big L went to Essence. My Lord. All right.
So we have 2 more stories to get into. I guess if you want to call this what, go ahead and bring it up. I already sent a link video that I want to share with you. Go ahead and give me my music. All right. So Carnival Cruise Lines has basically said, dear Black people, we appreciate your money, but we don't appreciate you. So they have put in several rules that have targeted Black people, for lack of better words, for some things. But I want to bring up this video talking a little bit more in depth about it with how other people are feeling about it, about the new rules. And we'll actually, before you play that, I guess press pause on that and I'll go into a new rules. One of the main new rules is that you are no longer allowed to bring Bluetooth speakers on the pool deck or in your room. You can't just have them playing so people are playing multiple music. You cannot no longer do that. The 15 drink limit is now going to be 15 drinks of anything, whether it's water, juice, soda, alcohol, that all counts in your 15 drinks, not just 15 alcoholic drinks. Any person below the age of 17 has to be accompanied by an adult or leave after 1 a.m., which makes total sense to me. And they are not playing any more rap or hip hop music in the nightclubs. They've also put a ban on all cannabis products, including THC products, marijuana, and CBD oil. And there was one more. Oh, and they are no longer allowing you to put your boots on the ground. There will be no more fans, no more clacking. None of that is allowed on a Carnival cruise anymore. They're saying for safety reasons. I'm like, what danger is a fan? As a person who carries a fan in her purse, I feel personally attacked. I don't do it for boots on the ground. I sweat. So I am quick to pull out my fan anywhere and just be fanning myself away and then click it close and put it in my purse. That's
all right,
just
well,
me,
you
though.
don't let me know because we show ain't running this whole 24 minutes and this blue bonnet is, my Lord.
Press play. Let's see where we are at with and this is Anton Daniels.
I don't know why I laugh when I just show this because if it's before I even play the video.
Okay, so he's just being messed up right now. He's laughing at her bonnet. Fast forward a little bit. The girl talking. Can you fast forward it?
Because we don't get it.
She's talking now. She's still not talking.
When you first.
She's still not talking. There we go.
But now something like that, right? That's not style. But let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. Carnival Cruise Lines. This is the debate happening between 2 different types of people.
So is it just me, or is Carnival Cruise sending a?
Oh, well, he ain't turned the audio on. Go on, turn the audio on, buddy, bro.
They don't want a certain type of people.
I guess he's not gonna turn the audio on, but anyway, her coming on here to record this video with this bonnet is not helping her case on why Carnival Cruise Lines is racist. But do you go on cruises? Do you and Tracy do this? I do. I've been on a Carnival cruise. There was a fight on the Carnival cruise I was on with my family. And after that, and I didn't want to go on a Carnival cruise ever again. I only do Royal Caribbean. But what are your thoughts?
We've only been on one cruise as a family. You know, Trey used to always say, because she's an Army veteran, if she wanted to sail, she'd join the Navy. So we in the long time we've been together, going on 20 years, we've only been on one cruise. And we went on that cruise. It was a Disney cruise. I think it was Disney. We had ourselves a pretty good time. We had the girls with us. Was it Disney? I think it was Disney. And but
that's the one you guys just went to?
Like a year or two ago, yeah.
Yeah, because you came here after. Yep.
Yeah. And so here's the thing. So if I'm on a cruise and a lot of the patrons of the cruise are walking around with bonnets on, smoking weed and hookahs with Bluetooth speakers.
I'm not going. Let me just be, I know this is going to sound so messed up, and I did a video. The reason I want to talk about this because I posted a commentary video about this, and it's gotten a lot of views very quickly and a lot of comments. I'm up to like 37 comments right now. And it really, I'm sorry, I agree with the Royal Caribbean. I don't want to go, imagine this. For people who don't know, imagine you go on a pool deck and you're listening to the DJ, because most of these crews have a DJ out there on the pool deck. So not only are you hearing the DJ's music, you are now hearing somebody's Bluetooth speaker here, another one over here, another one here. And ain't nobody playing nothing clean. The only time I don't mind hearing people's Bluetooth speakers is when like people who are Latin dancers are playing their music and they're dancing on the pool deck or whatever. Everybody else is playing some ratchet mess. Or when you're walking down a hallway, and like on one Royal Caribbean cruise, people are doing, not Royal Caribbean, Carnival, they're doing a backflip contest in the hallway. I don't want to see that mess. I don't. I'm not, that's not my vibe.
I don't. Here's the thing, bro. I look at this thing and I sit back and say, black folk, this is when you put people like us in such a precarious situation. Because when they get to try to talk to us about how this is racist, I'll sit up there and say, it is.
Is it though?
Is it though? Is it though that you walking around when we supposed to be enjoying a nice vibe and you walking around in the hallway with bonnets on, smoking weed, playing a Bluetooth speaker? Put your AirPods in. You can listen to whatever you want in your own ears. But no, you want everybody to hear Sexy Red just because you want to let everybody know I'm gonna play what I want to play. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
And what really sparked this is that a month and a half ago, we're not going to bring the video up, is that when people were getting off the Carnival Cruise Line, there was a 28-person brawl that took place in the customs bay of people leaving, and it was all black people. 24 people were banned from Carnival that day, and I feel like Carnival's like, listen, and this is not the first fight that's been on Carnival that's gone viral on social media. It's not the first one. It's probably maybe the 5th or 6th over the last 2 or 3 years, and Carnival was like, forget this. This is stupid. Like, we get it. We appreciate your business, black people, but this is not what we want. We don't think Carnival, Royal Caribbean don't got to deal with this. Norwegian ain't got to deal with this.
Because they done priced them out
Virgin
the market.
doesn't have to deal with this.
Let me tell you who ain't dealing with this. Because you talking about these stories have been going on for a while. We ain't seen no Don Lemon, Joy Ann Reid, Roland Martin. We ain't seen no videos of them out here talking about how bad Carnival Cruise Line is doing black folk. Ain't nobody out here. You ain't seen no Life on Circle Radio videos out here. But it's talking about how bad these folks are doing black folk. Y'all Negroes, thank you, Lord. Ooh, you caught me because I sure was about to say something else. Y'all Negroes are ignorant.
And they go on Carnival because Carnival is cheap for a 3-day cruise. You can go on a Carnival Cruise Line for the price of like a monthly car payment for 1 month of a cheap low budget car. You can go on a Carnival cruise.
Right.
And the drink package, all you can drink 15 drinks. 15
drink. That's crazy. They even controlling even how much Kool-Aid, how much punch you can drink. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
15 drinks. I enjoy a drink. Everybody knows this. I have my drink. I got my pink cup. This is what I like to do in the evening to relax. But all day long, you're drinking?
It's wild. It's wild. Okay, all right,
so there's
let's move on. Before we get up out of here, what any other stories before we get into what we're watching?
There is nothing else on the list. Everything seems to be done. We talked about it. So now let's express our anger in the Old Guard 2. This was the biggest bag of baloney I've ever been through.
So let's circle back. Old Guard 2. Old Guard was a movie. The first one came out. I forgot about it. It came out about 5 years ago, and it was pretty
2020. Good. During the actually, it came out during the pandemic.
Okay, It was pretty good. I think we all we you know, I liked it when you mentioned that it was that the new one was coming out. I said, oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's it's kind of a sci-fi-ish thing. It's interesting that they call themselves the Immortals when there was also a movie within the Marvel universe, right, called the Immortals, right? Wasn't
No, it
Oh, it was
called
the
Eternals.
Eternals. Okay, so these guys were the Immortals, and so they were warriors. They've been around for 1,000 years. They can't be killed. Is the selling piece of it? The black girl there, she's the newbie, and yeah, I'm giving it away a little bit, not much. You'll learn that with the first 20 minutes.
We're about to spoil it. If you haven't watched this crappy movie already, it's not our problem.
So anyway, the first one was good. I said to myself, when you talked about it and I saw it was a movie, it wasn't a series, I said, all right, cool. Let me go back and watch the old one again because I forgot all about the characters and everything. And the first one was like, all right, cool. I like this. I want to see what. And the second one, have at it.
It was awful. And let me tell you, the storyline the cliffhanger that they left off with the first one was a gentle cliffhanger. There was a resolution to the story,
Right.
gentle cliffhanger that you can take or leave. Oh, the Asian girl's alive, cool, great. All right, well, what's
Let's
next?
see what. Right.
This movie, it was the most gigantic cliffhanger to ever cliffhang in the history of cliffhangers. Everybody kidnapped. We got to go get them. So now we're going to go get them and we have no idea who's alive. It just didn't make a lot of sense to end the movie like that, especially with the movie kind of dragging on, not explaining a lot of stuff properly. Was there some backstory? Cool, fine, there was. But how did Uma Thurman become Discord? Who chose that bitch's name? Discord?
Right.
Really?
Which is like an app that people have. Why is her name Discord?
I'm glad we're on the same page. That's the first thing I said. I was like, ooh, Discord.
I was like, Discord. Don't I got an app on my phone that's called Discord?
So in ancient times, is this like a new name or was this from the back in the day? Was it a letter?
Right.
What is that?
Discord. Okay.
You've got very attractive Henry Goulding. I love an Asian man, love a Middle Eastern man, as we all know. He has a pivotal role. He's the oldest out of everybody, but again, nothing's really being explained.
No.
It's just we're just rolling. We're just relying a lot on the action, not on the story.
And then it ends.
That's what it was.
And so my thing is this whole thing around ending stuff on cliffhangers like that, but like you said, where there's no type of resolution. When you can have, like you said, at the end of the first one, you realize that the character that they thought was gone was still around, and so boom, ooh, that's interesting.
Interesting.
And then, I'm not trying to wait. The way that the cliffhanger in this Old Guard episode was like the cliffhanger you wait a week for. You don't wait 2 years for what's next with that.
Exactly. It was like a cliffhanger from that show, The Blind Spot. Remember The Blind Spot? Where the girl with the tattoos and the bag, that whole thing.
And no, I didn't watch that. I remember it was on NBC. I didn't watch it.
But it was like a Criminal Minds. Any of your procedural,
right. Anything that you see on a weekly, you might wait a summer. If that ended like that in May, you'll be waiting for the new episode. And I'm not unless they've already shot this, because they did the same thing, and I haven't watched it yet. The latest Mission Impossible movie kind of ended like that. The one before the one that just came out. Is the new one? Is it streaming yet? I don't know if it's streaming yet.
I don't think so, not yet.
So that was, but that's not Tom Hanks. That's what's his name?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, and he's been doing this for 40 years, and he can get away with that. Y'all just got a brand new franchise on Netflix, and y'all decide y'all gonna have 5 helicopters going 5 different. Yeah, we spoiling it. 5 helicopters going 5 different directions, and that's the end.
No, the ending was worse than that. That she ran off to go capture them with the Asian girl who you were just mad at. You were just mad at this girl.
Yeah,
an hour
you're right.
ago.
That shows you how much I was already done when the helicopters went flying away. I was like, this is some trash.
Let me tell you when I was done, and Omar even looked at my face, and I was like, it's when I realized, I was like, wait, we've been sitting here for an hour and 45 minutes, and they just got kidnapped. I was like, Omar, show how much of the movie is left over. He was like, 13 minutes. I'm like, they can't do everything in 13 minutes. Then they ran off to go capture them. I'll lead, you lead. I was like, oh, I don't care. I'm just mad.
I don't give a damn. All right, so that's Old Guard 2. Check it out. It's on Netflix. Old Guard 1, Old Guard 2. The first one was better than the second one. Just prepare to be disappointed in the second one. Is what it is.
Are you watching Ironheart?
Yes. I started it. I wanted to watch it with the girls. So we watched, I think, the first 2 or 3 episodes yesterday.
Okay.
Maybe I was sleepy, but is it? It's very much Gen. Which Gen is that? Gen Z, Gen Y, Gen
the stupid
whatever.
Generation. That's what they are. They're the stupid generation who ain't gonna get no jobs. The influencer generation. Sorry, Gen Z people, but that's what you are in my book.
Right,
anyway,
right.
Yes, it is very Gen Z. It is very younger demographic, but it does have a good storyline, a good pro-black, pro-family storyline. You know, the mom, Riri's mom's not some baby's mama. She's a widow, you know, which I feel like makes it different in the vibes. You know, she loses her best friend. She's an MIT graduate, prodigy in her neighborhood, got friends, and, you know, just trying to figure stuff out after the Wakanda situation.
So you know how immediately I'll be picking stuff apart, like in the storyline.
Yes.
Why is she friends with the Wakandans and she ain't got no money?
They're not. Why would they be giving out money? Also, they don't have They don't have a.
She did.
They
just
don't have a.
She did just help them save the world in Black Panther 2.
They also don't have a moniker anymore. If you remember how that ended, they don't have a structural government right now in Wakanda. Think about how it ended.
But they got bread. They got enough to send that girl some money for school.
Who's sending it?
Now you got me have to go back and look at the end of it. What happened at the end of Black Panther 2? What am I missing? What am I forgetting?
Little ballerina panther went to Haiti to go hang out with her brother's ex-baby mama, whatever they were.
Vacation. She just went on vacation.
But no, because they were also talking about the Gorilla King, whose name I can't think of. He was supposed to be taking over. None of these decisions were ever made. She just left. Her mom is dead. Her brother is dead. Her dad is dead. Who is handing out money? Because Dora Milaje can't do. Who's handing out money?
Somebody got a couple $100,000 to keep that girl in college. God daggone.
But she didn't get kicked out of college because she didn't have any money. She got kicked out of college because she went off with the Wakandans and destroyed a bunch of stuff. And they were like,
no. They said she had multiple disciplinary actions. It wasn't just one; it was multiple, and that's why she got kicked out. And the last thing was what to do with that was in the. This is at the beginning, so
she
we ain't
lost the
spoiling
Tony
much.
Stark scholarship. That's what she
She
had.
lost the scholarship, so she didn't even pick up the phone like, "Yo, Princess, I need y'all to cut me a check so I can stay in school so I can build the next Iron Man." Anyway, so that was the first part to me. I was like, how she ain't got no bread? How she ain't got no bread?
Back to Chicago to her
How
mama
she ain't got no
house.
bread? How she go and how she got up in the jump? How she fly from Massachusetts in Chicago in the suit and they cut it off right when she was ready to land?
Yeah, because they realized it was gone and they took out the AI because the AI belongs to the school. The little pencil man belonged to the school.
All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all hanging with us, and you go ahead and get that mic right. We're gonna get you right. But you stepped up. You got a mic all hanging in your face now. Your lights all right. Yeah, we stepping into the big league.
Next up, new camera.
All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. We holler at y'all. Peace and
bye.